got this 07 ECU that I'm gonna convert to a 08, and I had one yesterday. I didn't record the tune from yesterday, but it's a orange 350Z, and that one I also did the conversion because his idle was pretty high. George over there fixing the idle on that HR. I was reprogramming this guy's key. Had some issues with this car, so he towed it in, and then there's a guy with nats off. So, and then the nats off, he towed it in, and he went to different locksmiths, and they told him to get a new key, they told him to get a new BCM, and the weird part is when they would program it, it would work one time. As soon as he turns off the car and he turns it back on, it wouldn't start again. So this is the G35, not this Q. This one's good. I never heard of that, but it's not one or two systems to the nats. It's a couple systems. So you'd probably have to replace everything or trace down. Maybe it's a wiring problem. Who knows? But I never heard that where they would program it, it would work, and then it would stop when you try to start the car again. So yeah, we just deleted nats on that, and it turned on every single time. And he's pretty happy because he got that car. I don't know if you watch my videos, but he told me he got that car. It's a rev up G35 coupe, and he told me he got it for $1,500. That's a pretty good deal, you know. The car looks good, so that's an excellent deal. He could definitely flip that, but I don't know if he's gonna flip it or keep it. But yeah, I literally just came in and a bunch of stuff to do already. Then I have a guy coming in with it's a SUV. I think it's a FX, a 2011, and we're gonna try and reprogram the transmission ECU. I've never done it. I told him I've never done it. I don't know why he wants to do it. I asked him. He just said it feels funny. I'm pretty sure it's not the ECU. Maybe something's wrong, but since that was the first one, I'm not gonna charge him anything, and he's a pretty cool guy. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that for him. I actually don't know how long he's gonna take. Maybe it'll probably take like 10 minutes to reflash the transmission ECU. That's even if it lets me. Like I said, we're gonna try. All right, so this is the one for the transmission flash, and it does let me do it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let's see. Stock injectors, UPT 3-inch intakes. Those are the original models. What's up, guys? I have a 2004 G35 coupe, single turbo. I did make a previous video about this car. It's only, I think it's 10 or 11 pounds. Today we're here for a retune. We're gonna turn up the boost. We're gonna see what it could do. But the motor has actually been rebuilt again. So originally when I first tuned it, to be honest with you, I have not gone back to the video to see what I said. But I don't know if like it was a family friend or family that built his motor. And you can put a motor back together. It doesn't mean it was done right. So this motor was damaged. This is another block. So the head gasket blew, which, you know, could be normal, but it wasn't just the head gasket, it was the block as well. So it was one of the corners. And this car I tuned almost a year ago. So he came here just to replace the head gasket, but obviously when they took it apart, they saw it was more than the head gasket. And then as they were taking everything else apart, they started noticing that things were not put back together how they should be by the other person, whoever put his motor together. One of the things was the cam gear, the one in here, the sprocket. It was actually flipped. It was flipped and then they installed it. When that happens, actually, George posted it on his story. Uh, you can still time it correctly. So the cam timing was correct, which is why it ran and made power, and there was no check engine light. I'd have to ask George exactly what it is that it did, but that caused some of the problem. Some of the were not torqued correctly. You know, it had its good amount of issues, and obviously when you're pushing power, that's not good. If it was just NA and it makes 200-300 wheel, you know, it still might have happened, but it would have maybe taken 5-10 years instead of roughly 1 year. So just imagine like someone builds your motor and they put a part on backwards, you know, and it's in there. You have to tear the motor apart to get to it, and then along with the bearings. And he did tell me some other things were not like torqued down correctly. He said maybe they didn't do the pattern, the certain pattern you have to do when you tie in the heads. Maybe, certain sequences. That's probably what caused it. So I believe it was one of the on this side where it cracked, and they probably just didn't tie it in the correct sequence. Like I said, some of the stuff was not torqued correctly. For example, it just the bolt just came right off as soon as they tried to remove it, and it should not come off that easy. So things like that. So yes, like you could take it to a friend and they think they know what they're doing and they put it back on and it could start, but it's not done correctly. So, and then I've had very few, I know I mentioned this in my other videos, very few people that will take, for example, again, their car to like their friend, and it's always surprising when it comes out done correctly. So this one, usually I'll know right away if it's not done good, and I'll tell them, so we can't tune it. This one, everything seemed good. There's no check engine light. The ignition timing was good. The cam timing was good. So obviously we can't see through the cover, and on the bottom that the bolts were not tying correctly and that the sprocket was put on backwards. But that's a first right there for the sprocket. I remember I think Joey took it apart and he was just like, whoa, like, hey, this thing is on backwards. And then, you know, like the the bolts on the head and on the bearings, the crank, it was just, they're all loose. So everything was redone, new bearings, new rings. It's the same rods. I guess they checked them out. It's the same rods. And I think it's the same pistons. I'm not sure. I think they might have just replaced one. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to double check. I'm going to ask them before I start tuning it. But yeah, so this was the problem with this one. And then last time we were only able to do low boost because I don't remember. Like I said, I haven't gone back to my video. I don't know if I think he had just the basic clutch upgrade. I'm not too sure. But now, since the motor was out, now it has a UPT clutch in there. I believe stage 3. With obviously the clutch is new, so a lot of you will ask if the clutch needs to be broken in, and no, it does not need to be broken in. Every time we do a build, or there's been some instances where I'll just have a regular tune, you know, NA bolt-ons. It's not boosted, nothing really special, and they know that their clutch is going out or is out. So they'll schedule something with George. They'll tell him, hey, I have a tune with Saul in a couple days and I need a new clutch. So they'll come, for example, 2 days before, just to make sure nothing else goes wrong. The guys here will install the clutch, and then right after I'll go ahead and tune it. So and the clutches are good. They're still running. They're not broken or nothing. The clutches, they don't need a break-in if they're good quality. have this HR that I tuned before, mid-mount. It was only doing about 10-11 pounds last year, and we had some issues. Like, first he came to me with small injectors, so we couldn't turn up the boost, and I didn't have any problems. And well, now here we are, the boost controller over there just temporarily right there, so is that line right there, so that's all just temporary because it's sort of like last minute. And right now, yeah, we're doing about 18 pounds right now. It's making a lot more torque and more horsepower. All right, and the car is done, and he's out on a test drive right now. And let's see what he says when he comes back. All right, so he came back from his test drive, and he said it felt really good at the moment that he went full throttle. So something in the drivetrain broke again. Last time his diff cover exploded when we were at the old shop. Let me try and get a better angle or some light. That's okay, I don't want to turn on my flash. But so yeah, when we were at the other shop and I tuned his car, like the smaller injectors that he brought and the stock MAF sensors on the 10 or 11 psi, his diff cover exploded. And this time we checked in the back and the diff cover is there. It doesn't look like anything exploded. There's no oil leaking. The axle looks a little crooked, so maybe it broke. I don't know if both of them broke. It's kind of dark, and you know, he just left it here. He's gonna pick it up tomorrow, and he's just gonna figure it out himself. So we're just letting him keep it here. Just, you know, it's basically just overnight. He's gonna come in the morning. But he said before he went full throttle, he was just in third gear, and he gave it like some light throttle, and he said it just picked up really fast, way better than before. So, and then what it's making, it's doing about 23 psi, and by after 6,000, so 6,000 to red line, it goes down to 20. So it peaks about 22, 23, and then it drops down to 20. And it's doing the turbo, it does seem like it has room for more boost. So maybe, for example, we could go up to 28 or 30, and then, you know, after around 6,000 it might go down to about 25 or something. But obviously he's going to make even way more power. So he's very happy, but at the same time he's sad because he can't drive his car after just watching it get tuned and getting a little teaser. So basically what happened, he said he went full throttle in second gear. As soon as he went full throttle, he felt it like hook, pull really hard. So it's not that big of a deal, but of course he has to use money to fix it. So, but that's part of the game, you know, you break stuff like that. And he has some really big tires. But yeah, that's it for this one right here. Hopefully we can turn up the boost more. I know it's not my car, but I really want to see what it does at 30 pounds. 30 pounds, yeah, which would require a lot more fine tuning. Once you go higher boosts, it's not really just turning up the boost and doing like a quick tune. The more boost you do, the more extreme fine tuning you really have to do. I think that's what a lot of these other tuners don't understand. That's why their motors blow. That's why their built motors blow as well, you know. When you have a built motor, it does take more punishment. And of course, just because it's built doesn't mean you don't have to take care of it. You still have to take care of it. Yeah, hello. I think this guy's car blew up again. Not sure why. So let me wait for Jesse to that coupler keeps popping off on the G35 I tuned because the clamp is the wrong size. But yeah, so they had just swapped this motor. I think this is the third time to swap this motor. And yeah, so the car is not tuned by me. I mentioned that in another video. He had a pretty good deal, you know, in another state. I think he said it was in Florida. So he shipped the car over there, you know, turbo kit and all that. Whatever deal he had, you know, that's his business. And like I said in the other video, you know, I explained things to him. I told him what software is tuned on. That way the tuner over there will be more aware. So it's not, you know, the tuner over there doesn't know what's going on. And yeah, I guess it blew up 2 times, so it's still on the other tune. This is another motor, so not sure what's going on. I don't know who tuned it. I didn't ask him, you know, so that way I could just say what I need to say. And I mean, well, what do you guys think it is? Like, this is 2 motors in a row that they blow up. So yeah, so now he's gonna build another motor, which they have in there, and now that one I'm gonna tune. And yeah, he's very excited to have me tune this car. He actually asked me to tune this current motor that he has, but I'm actually backed up on work, and I've been coming on Sundays to do the little project cars that I call, that you guys know. And one of these days 2 weeks ago, I was actually pretty busy, so I had to cancel the whole day. So those people for tuning that day, I had to like slowly put them in throughout the week or on a Sunday. So I would say yes, I'm already caught up. And yeah, I think he said he only did like 2 pulls on this car. 2 pulls or like 2, I don't know, like he was drifting like just once or twice, and then it blew up. And you know, it has an oil cooler and everything. It has there's nothing wrong with it. The motor sounded perfectly healthy. It revved fine, and yeah, everything was good. So but now it's time to move on, you know, build the motor and get it tuned by me again, and that's it. What's up, guys? I have this 2014 Q50, obviously a 7-speed. According to the owner, he just purchased the car recently, maybe within a few months, if I remember correctly. And give me 1 second here. This car's on 85, has engine intakes, stock Y pipe, and I think it's a muffler delete. He does have a full aftermarket exhaust on the way, probably a FedEx or UPS or something. And this is what it did right now. 280 wheel. It's tuned by somebody else right now, so he bought it tuned. And he heard about the person it's tuned by, and he just does not want sorry, I'm doing some stuff here. He does not want their tune because he heard about their bad reputation. And as you saw in the previous clip where I didn't say anything, I was just showing the screen. I don't know why it took 30 times to tune the car. So obviously I wasn't there. I don't know, they have problems with it, or they don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it tuned, and I already uploaded the first startup file, and the idle is actually perfect. So very nice to myself. You're welcome. All right, so this one is done. Gained 12 wheel horsepower over the other person's tune. Their tune was 280, now it's 292 wheel horsepower. I did find some things wrong with the tune based off of the log, as usual. This one actually is one of the, I guess, quote unquote safer tunes that I've seen from this person. It's actually the first one. Every other one's really bad, but it could be because I saw something in there that they didn't do. So because they didn't do that, it could have offset it. But you know what? I'll just give them the credit. Maybe they did do a all right job on this one. But the fueling was kind of bad. So I know it's hard to explain it when I tell you that for them they did like an all right job, but the fueling is wrong. I know it's very confusing, but yeah, I did see some fuel issues. The car started with no problem. I'm not gonna lie, it started with no issues every single time. But it did have fueling problems for cruising and full throttle. Um, anyways, so yeah, so the car is now tuned by me, getting 12 wheel horsepower. I'm gonna explain all the maps to him, and I'll have him go on a test drive.